Chris Wilder is back. Yes, you heard that right. Just 3 months after his dramatic sacking at Sheffield United, the man who was shown the door in tears has made one of the most shocking comebacks in recent English football history. Football fans are stunned, critics are confused, and Sheffield United supporters don't know whether to laugh, cry, or rage at the news. Because in the unpredictable world of football, sometimes the script writes itself, and this one is almost too crazy to believe. Let's rewind. The Chris Wilder story is one of passion, loyalty, heartbreak, and unfinished business. Wilder wasn't just another manager at Sheffield United. He was a fan, a former player, and a man who lived and breathed the club. He took them from League One all the way to the Premier League, building one of the most remarkable underdog stories in recent years. His overlapping centre-backs, his fearless attacking football, his grit, it all made the Blades a team that football purists admired. For a while, it seemed like he was untouchable. But football is cruel. By 2021, Wilder's first spell ended badly. Disagreements with the owners, poor results, and the brutal reality of Premier League survival all caught up with him. It was a bitter breakup, but Wilder's legend remained. Fans still sang his name. People still talked about what could have been. Fast forward. And after a brief spell elsewhere, Wilder returned to Sheffield United last season, trying once again to steady the ship, but this time, the romance didn't last. Results were dire, performances were flat, and after just a handful of months, the board sacked him. Again, for many, that looked like the end of Wilder's managerial story at the top levels. To be sacked twice by the club you love, in such brutal fashion, in front of your own fans, is enough to break any man. The cameras caught it all, his final moments on the touchline, his head lowered, fans divided between clapping and booing. It felt like the last chapter of a book that should have ended more gloriously. But here comes the twist. 3 months later, Chris Wilder is back in the EFL, not as a pundit, not as a technical director, as a manager, taking charge of a team desperate for survival and willing to gamble on his fiery touchline presence. When the news broke, social media exploded. Fans couldn't believe it. The same man who was sacked in disgrace is suddenly being trusted to lead again. The same manager who had been branded finished is now back in the hot seat. This is football at its most shocking. The appointment says a lot, not just about Wilder, but about the state of football management. Clubs are panicking. Results matter more than long-term vision. Owners are desperate for someone with experience, someone who can inspire players in the dressing room. And Wilder, for all his recent failures, has that aura. Players respect him. Opponents fear his intensity. He might not have reinvented tactics in years, but he knows how to shake a team awake. For Sheffield United fans, though, this comeback cuts deep. They can't decide whether to be angry that their board gave up on him too soon, or relieved that he's not lurking around Bramall Lane anymore. Some feel betrayed. They believed Wilder was one of them, a Blade through and through, who would never truly belong anywhere else. Seeing him on another touchline feels like watching a family member walk away with a rival. It hurts. What makes this story even more dramatic is the timing. 3 months isn't long in football. Players that Wilder coached at Sheffield United are still processing his departure. Fans haven't even moved on. And now he's back on TV screens, giving passionate post-match interviews, barking orders, celebrating goals. It feels surreal, like football hasn't even given people time to breathe. And maybe that's the shock factor. We expect managers to disappear for a while, to regroup, to wait for the right project. But Wilder, he's dived straight back in. There's also the question of pressure. This new job is not a free hit. He's walking into a club in crisis, one that needs immediate results. There's no honeymoon period, no patience, no rebuilding project. If Wilder doesn't deliver in the first few weeks, the knives will be out again. And this time, he won't have the protection of being one of their own. He's just another manager, judged on points, goals, and survival. That makes the risk even greater. But maybe that's exactly why Wilder took it. He thrives on being underestimated. Remember when people laughed at his overlapping set? They said it would never work at the highest level, but he proved them wrong, leading Sheffield United to a 9th place finish in the Premier League. Maybe he believes he can shock people again. Maybe this is his last stand. His final shot to prove he still belongs in English football. For neutral fans, this is box office drama. For journalists, it's headline gold. For the EFL, it's another reminder of just how unpredictable the league can be. 1 minute you're sacked in disgrace, the next you're back in the dugout, cameras flashing, fans chanting your name. It's the kind of story that makes people love football. even as it breaks their hearts. So what happens now? Will Chris Wilder's return be remembered as a masterstroke? A redemption arc that silences his critics and restores his reputation? Or will it end in disaster, another sacking, and a permanent stain on his legacy? Nobody knows. That's why this is shocking. That's why everyone is watching. Because Chris Wilder is back. And once again, English football is holding its breath.